Well, good day. Lee Norheim here from Norheim Ranching. This particular model that we're going to walk you through today is the 8718. What that means is it has an 8700 series squeeze on the front of it. It has 16 feet of alleyway, and then it has a 16-foot diameter bud flow tub on the back end. So starting right here at the front, this is commonly what we refer to as the Q-catch headgate. The 7 series have a slatted headgate. What this does is this is working with the animal's natural senses. They can now see more daylight coming through the headgate. Therefore, they're more encouraged to come forward and keep moving forward to the front of the chute. I really like this for the 7 series. I always feel it's better to work with the animals than work against them, and this is just working with their natural desire to want to come forward to the daylight. For the 7 series, this is a new, updated, more robust head holder. To give you a demonstration on how this works, you get your animal in the chute, you get their head caught, and then you crank that down. This part here is going to go right under the animal's chin. This is going to go right behind her pole, and that's totally going to lock her head. And you can see that right now, this is completely locked. I can put my full weight on this, and it will not release. It can get tighter, but it can't get any looser. The only way to release this is to come over here to the handle and lift the handle up. So once you've got the animal's head locked in there, you can tag them, you can tattoo them, you can dehorn them, all safely, all easily. The animal's really fully restrained at that point, and it's a really, really safe way to do any kind of functions on an animal's head. We've been an Arrowquip dealer now for I think about 7 years, and I've yet to sell an Arrowquip squeeze without a head holder on the front. It's just an amazing piece of equipment. Coming back a little bit farther here on this 8718, some of the other changes that you're going to see from a 6 to a 7, they've made some nice improvements in what I refer to as the neck injection area. You can see that's going to fold right down, and this just swings out. Now I have full access to the animal's head. I have full access to their neck for doing a proper neck injection, but I can also get full access to their front feet or their brisket if I need to do any work in that area. If you need to take this completely out, one pin, that whole system is going to pop out. Coming back a little bit farther, these are getting into some more of the fine changes, but you can see here on these latches, this is a solid steel latch, but on the 7 series, they've coated that in a heavy-duty plastic or a polyurethane. It's almost a rubber type. The reason they do that is for noise. This is the quietest manual squeeze chute in the business. You will not buy a quieter squeeze in this. One of the things I really like about the Arrow systems is they do the small stuff right. When you're buying a squeeze chute, you don't very often think of things like the latches. But if you look at the way this latch is built, it's really built heavy duty. And they've done a great job of it. It's really cut nice. It's easy to use on your hand. You can lock it up if you need to. So you can swing that right through. Or I can drop it down and it turns into a slam latch. It's a small thing, but that's the difference between a good squeeze chute and a great squeeze chute, is getting all those small things right. And you know if they've got the time and attention to make these small things right, you know they're doing the big things right. So a few other features here. You can see there previously I opened just the top, but you can also open the top and bottom together. Or you can open them separately. There's the bottom by itself. There's the top by itself. So you've got great access to the animal. You need to do a C-section, you need to brand, you need to access the side of the animal. You can bring the whole top out If you need to emergency release an animal from the side, you can open the entire side up. The animal can come right out. Or you're semen testing bulls, you need to do something purely on the bottom, you're messing with a hoof, you're getting that calf to suck, there's your bottom, open only. Really a really well built, nice setup. While I'm messing with these doors, I'm going to get you to come and look on the inside here and have a look at this sternum bar. So this sternum bar, we've always had sternum bars in the Arrowquip chutes. They have revamped this for the 7 series. You can see now that they have this plate on the inside, so there's no way an animal can get their feet caught or tangled in there at all. I really like it. I think it's a very, very useful tool to keep those cows from laying down and just keep the whole day moving forward and going smoothly. So I highly recommend the sternum bar. Like I say, 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10 of the chutes we sell go with the sternum bar. If you take a squeeze chute home, it's got the sternum bar for whatever reason you don't want to use it, 2 bolts in the front, the whole sternum bar pops right out. You'll have it out in less than 5 minutes. Why would you take it out? Well, if you're ever doing really small calves. While I'm in here, I'll draw your attention to the floor. So this is a full steel floor, very heavy duty, very well built, with a rubber mat on the top. This rubber floor just helps protect the steel underneath. It also makes the traction a lot better. It makes it a lot easier on the animal's hooves, which I like. I hate seeing an animal go out the chute and then you see they have a chipped or cracked hoof from being in a steel floored chute. And it makes it quieter. With the 7 series, we can now also reverse the rear door as well. So you can have them both pivot at the front and close at the back. Lots of flexibility built into this Arrowquip 8718 series portable handling system. Moving on to the back here, you can see that every 8700 series Arrow squeeze chute comes with a built-in palpation cage, or what some people call a vet cage. There's your doors, both sides, doors both sides. Opens outwards, and for our vets, also swings inwards. Door swings both ways. Very convenient. You can tell when you're swinging this door, this is a heavy, well-built chute. Lots of material here, lots of iron, very well constructed. Again, the real high quality latches, slam them shut. You can see here that we have runners, both top and bottom, and on the palpation cage. Put your fence post in there, ratchet them up. Top or bottom. And I like this, because if I'm in there, I can put it in the top, and I can still open my bottom. I'm trying to get that calf to suck, the cow's squirming, I can put the fence post in there, I can cinch her up, get her tighter in there, and now I can get my calf to suck. Or vice versa. We're messing around with the cow on the top, I put the fence post in the bottom, I can still open the top. And for those bigger animals, they even put them right back into the vet cage. You got those big mature bulls in there, right back to the vet cage. Want to talk about this thing? That's a big question I get there. What's that chunk of rubber for? Well, let's squeeze the chute in a little bit. When I squeeze the chute in, this rubber covers this spot. So that next calf coming up, that 5-weight calf coming up, doesn't stick his head in here and get his head caught in there. So that rubber automatically folds out and stops those calves from doing that. Speaking of the squeeze system, this is obviously how we squeeze it in and out. it will squeeze down to 9 inches on the inside. So you can squeeze a very, very small calf in there, or all the way out for your big mature animals. No second locking mechanism. Every handle on this system is a one handle operation. That squeeze is locked right there, just like the head gate. I can push it in, but I can't pull it out. It's locked. The only way to get it to widen out is to pull on this lever. That brings us down to our head gate controls. You can see this is how we operate our head gate. Again, one lever. I can slide this bar completely up and down so I can operate it all the way from the front, or I can operate it all the way from the back. Most of the time, and I would recommend operating it from the rear. If I'm standing here and cattle are coming up this alleyway, I'm standing in the wrong spot. They're coming straight towards me, and they don't want to come towards me. Their natural instinct is they want to move away from me. They want to get away from any threats. They're going to view me as a threat. They want to move away from me. If I'm standing in the front, I'm standing in the wrong position. But if I'm standing in the back, I'm standing in the right position. I can open up my rolling door, animal comes up, I will open the head gate a little bit, give them a little bit of daylight, give them an exit so they can see where they're going, close the rolling door behind them, and now I'm standing here. I'm in her flight zone. I am at her hip. She wants to move away from me. It's her natural instinct to go away from me and to go out the front of the head gate. I will, as soon as she puts her head in there, I'll close it on her. She's caught. Now, probably the biggest question we get on Arrowquip systems is on Q-catch head gates, and if I've heard it once, I've heard it 1,000 times. Well, I need a self-catch head gate because I often work alone. No, you don't. You do not need a self-catch head gate if you work alone. This system works excellent for people that are working alone. And let me show you why. If I'm here working alone, and I work cattle alone quite often, I will open this head gate up approximately that much, just like I would do on a self-catch head gate. And you can see here that I've opened that head gate as wide as the animal's head, but not wider than their shoulders. Now, if that animal comes up and I'm not around, if I'm not on the controls, if I'm not standing here, if I'm not ready, she comes up, she sticks her head in here. The worst thing that can happen is she can stick her head in here and back up again. There is no possible way that she can get out because it is only open as wide as her head and not wider than her shoulders. And you'll see, once again, I can't open this up. I can make it tighter, but it automatically locks. I can't open it up. The only way to open it up is to come back here to the handle. So once again, I would open the head gate wider than her head, but narrower than her shoulders. She comes in, I'm standing in her flight zone, I push her forward. As soon as she sticks her head in there, bang, she is caught. I would now come up here, do whatever process I needed to do to her. In this example, I would give her a neck injection. Neck injection done. It's time for her to leave. I will come back here. I'm in her flight zone. Open that up. She walks out the front. I'll open the rolling door. Next animal is coming. I will close this down, set it again, wider than the animal's head, but narrower than their shoulders. As soon as they're past the rolling door, I'll close the rolling door. As soon as the animal is in the head gate, they're caught, and repeat. Neck injection, open, gone, next animal coming. And repeat. When people are comparing a self-catch head gate to a Q-catch head gate, they often think about the catching, but they forget about the releasing. And the releasing on a self-catch head gate can be one of the most time-consuming parts. Very, very often with a self-catch head gate, the animal is caught and they're pulling back, particularly if your handles or controls are in the front. Because if you're standing here, it's that animal's natural instinct to move away from you, and they're pulling back. Because they're pulling back with a self-catch head gate, very often you have to let them back first, then come, chase them out of the chute, and reset the head gate. This is a very, very time-consuming process. Whereas with the Q-catch system, when it's time for them to leave, you're standing behind them, you're in their flight zone, you're standing in the right spot, they are going to move away from you, and they're going to walk out the front. In the Q-catch system, they are always moving forward, never moving backwards. I'm a big fan of the Q-catch head gate for any size of operation. Whether you're a 40 head cow-calf operation or a 400 cow-calf operation, whether you work alone or whether you work in a team, this is the best head gate on the market, bar none. Moving down the 8718 a little bit farther, I kind of touched on it already, but we have a rolling door right here behind or at the end of the chute portion of the 8718. Want to point out a couple of things. You can see this rolling door rolls on these high density plastic rollers made of the same kind of plastic that our ratchet system is for our fence post. These are extremely heavy duty. They should last the lifetime of the chute. And why do we make them out of high density plastic instead of steel? Very quiet, very, very quiet. And one of the main themes you're going to see all along in this system is we are trying to have a quiet system. The quieter the system, the better those cattle go through it, the less excited they get, the less stress on the cattle, and let's face it, less stress on the operators too. So very, very quiet. I really like that. The other thing I'm going to point out here is you'll notice that this rolling door rolls away from me. That door's wide open. This is my working side. If that door had rolled towards me, now that door would be in my way on my working side. When it rolls away from me, much, much nicer for the operator. Coming down here, we can get a little better view. So this is 16 feet of alleyway, or 2 8-foot sections. If you stand back, you can see the entire portable system is mounted on one common frame. Real heavy-duty frame there. That looks like it's probably a 3x3 inch square tubing, heavy wall tubing. The whole system is mounted on that one common frame. So then we've got 2 8-foot alleys in the middle here. We have rolling doors separating both alleys. And then we also have a rolling door right here at the back from the tub into the alleys. There are handles on both sides of those rolling doors. So if there are people on the other side and they need to operate the rolling doors, the doors can be operated from either side. If you remember from looking at the other side did not have these shields. These are totally removable. They're just bolted in there. And really they're designed so that the owner can mix and match these as required. When we talk about cattle psychology and the dynamics of an animal wanting to come up the chute, you don't want them coming into a fully slatted chute where they can see every little thing that's on the ground, where they can see your jacket laying on the ground or your water bottle laying on the ground. But on the flip side, they also don't want to walk into a full black box. They don't want to walk into a dark closet. So you can take these out. You can see they're both on this side right now. You can take one out and have one layer on each side. You can take them all the way out, or you can put them both on the same side. The reason these are movable is so that you can set it up to how your yard is configured, or how your system is configured in your own yard. There may be situations where you don't want the animal to see what is on the right-hand side. Maybe there's something you need to hide from them that is going to scare them or make them nervous. Then you can block it off fully on the right side. You can mix and match. That's why they're there. I think that's a real smart idea from Arrow, and I really like that it's flexible, because not everybody's yard is the same. What I want to point out now is how these 8-foot alleys actually work. So these are called easy flow alleys. You can see that they are a V style, so they are wider at the top and narrower at the bottom. You got lots of room at the top for a big barreled cow, a heavy pregnant cow with lots of guts on her. She can still get through there. Because it's narrower at the bottom, cattle have a lot of trouble turning around in there. So if you get those little 5-weight steers that are prone to turning around, in the V alley, it's a lot tougher to turn around because it's narrower at the bottom. So I really like that. Other things about these easy flow alleys. Pull this rope, fully adjustable. So I can adjust it quite a ways down, actually. Very, very nice system in that respect. Another thing that I like about these alleys, hopefully you don't ever have to use this feature, but in an emergency, you can lay this alley completely down. These alleys are really well constructed, and consequently, they are not light. While we're talking about the quality of the system, you can see throughout the system, it's all square tubing. I really like it when they use the square tubing, because everywhere that they weld it, you get really, really good contact. They do a really good job. Some manufacturers, when they're using round tubing, they have to pinch those pipes to weld them together. Whereas with the square tubing, you get great contact on your welds, versus pinched pipe where it's a little tougher to weld it and you don't always get the quality you're looking for. The other thing about the Arrow, all Arrow products, is they are powder coat painted. And that may not sound like a big deal, but when you're making a 25-year investment in a handling system, you want it to look good in 25 years. Get a system that's got a good quality paint in it that will last the life of the machine. Powder coat paint is worth every dime in the investment. It's a really good system. So as we progress down the line here on our 8718 portable handling system, now we're going to talk about the tub portion. So this system comes with a 16-foot diameter or 8-foot radius bud flow tub. This tub in particular is what they call the 3E bud flow tub. When I look at the bud flow tub, I like to think of it as a hybrid between a regular crowding tub and a bud box. And for those of you that have used a bud box, you'll see what I mean very quickly. For those of you that are familiar with a traditional crowding tub, you will know that in a traditional crowding tub, we open up the back gate, or what I like to call the back door. We stuff the cattle in the back, and then we swing our gate around until they are forced up the alleyway. And really the entire concept of a traditional crowding tub is you're confining those animals and then forcing them down the alley. Nothing wrong with a traditional crowding tub. We still sell traditional crowding tubs. We sell lots of them. They work quite well. My only real complaint with the traditional crowding tub is I would say that a traditional crowding tub works against the natural instincts of the animal versus working with the animal. And this is where a bud flow tub works differently. So in a bud flow tub, we're a little more considerate to the cattle. We don't make them sneak around and come in the back door. We treat them like a valued guest, like they're our neighbor, and we're not ashamed of them. and we let them come in the front door. So the way this will work is we will set up our lead up alleys into here. The animals will come in the front door. As soon as they've come in the front door, we're going to close it behind them. Their natural instinct is they are going to walk around, they're going to hit the end, they're going to realize they cannot go any farther, and then their natural instincts are going to kick in. And the animal's natural instinct is to circle and try to return to where they came from. So when they hit this point here, they're going to circle and they're going to return to where they came from. In the meantime, you've opened up the rolling door. They're going to come back here and they're going to go right down the alley. And in this situation, we are working with the animal's natural instinct instead of working against them. Now, it never fails that sooner or later you'll get an animal in there that can't seem to find the alley no matter what happens. In those cases, we still have the ability to swing the crowd gate and force them up the alley. Now we'll bring you up to what we call the 3E part. And a lot of people look at this and say, well, how the heck does this work? Arrowquip does an extensive amount of R&D and an extensive amount of testing when designing these systems. And I'll tell you, one of the things that they picked up on when working cattle in these bud flow tubs is the older designs, the 6 Series design, would have looked exactly like this, where this panel was completely straight and you didn't have any of this. None of this was here. It was completely straight and the animals just went down the alley. But in their testing, they figured out that if you can move this out to here, very, very often you will get an animal that will come up and she will stand right here. And then the other animals will want to walk right by her. They'll just get into the passing lane and keep passing her on the inside and just keep cruising right on by. When they're all done and when she's the last one there, she'll often follow. And it never seems to fail. You'll get 2 animals roll into that double alley side by side, and then one of them stops dead. And in the other lane, the animals just keep flowing by, or vice versa. The animal in the left lane stops and the animals just keep flowing by. Both lanes of traffic don't flow at the same time. In almost every single double alley situation I've seen, 2 animals will roll into that double alley, one will stop dead, and then the traffic flows in the other lane. And I look at that and say, no problem. As long as the traffic's flowing, who cares which lane they're in? As long as the animals are moving forward and the chute is never empty, who cares if they stop in one lane? Well, that's really the entire concept here. Bring an animal up, they stop here, and the other ones just keep passing them. And it works very, very well. There are a couple of added benefits too from having this 3E design here. As you've already seen, you can set this into either position. It will also lock in this position. But the added benefits, we have a little man gate here. So now, if for whatever reason I need to get inside, maybe I need to go up the alley, I've got a man gate, I can go up there. The other things we can do, I can swing this right around. There are hooks here. I can back an Arrow portable loading chute up and hook an Arrow portable loading chute right on here. Now I can back a cattle liner in. I can load a cattle liner right from here. Or I can back my stock trailer in, load my stock trailer, etc., allowing me to load animals out of the bud flow tub. So that's a real nice little add-on for the for the bud flow tub. Or if you just had an animal in the tub that you didn't need to process, you could just open that gate and let them right out there. So that's a really nice feature on the 16-foot bud flow tub, or 8-foot radius, 16-foot diameter bud flow tub. As you've already seen, this entire system folds up onto one common frame, jack it up, put the wheels on, hook it on the truck, away you go down the road. You can take this system from road mode to field mode in 10 to 15 minutes and vice versa. You can go from field mode, processing cattle, to road mode, ready to roll down the highway, again, 10 to 15 minutes. As I think you've seen all through the video, it's very quiet. I would maintain it as the quietest system in the industry. This is the Arrow 8718, 8700 series chute in the front, 16 feet of alley, 16-foot bud flow tub, all on one common frame, full portable system. For those of you that need to work in multiple pastures, you have cattle in multiple pastures, or you need to work at multiple yard sites, a portable handling system is a great way to go. This is the jack. You can see they use good heavy-duty jacks. This is a really easy jack to turn, really easy to spin. It's really low geared, so I'm not going to kid you. It's a lot of cranks to get it all the way up. It's a lot of spinning it around, but it's really easy spinning. Myself, personally, I like that better because we can send anybody out to do it. You don't have to have huge upper body strength to spin this jack. You might spin it a few times, but you don't have to have huge strength to do it. Once again, my name is Lee Norheim. I'm with Norheim Ranching. Give us a call anytime. Love to talk to you about your cattle handling needs.